And I'm muting myself. Farewell, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. Say bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Go, Kenny. Take it without further ado.
Thank you so much. All right, welcome everyone to tonight's webinar on SHSAT poetry. I am Kenny Tan. I've been tutoring and teaching students on how to prepare for the SHSAT since the year 2010. I've been tutoring students one-on-one since 2014 after I graduated from Vanderbilt University. And before Vanderbilt, I attended Stuyvesant High School. I was a class of 2010 at Stuyvesant. So tonight we will be going over some poetry-related questions together on this Kahoot app. So I hope everyone who wanted to join the Kahoot has joined.
You just type it in. You want me? I'll type it in again. Okay, so everyone has it. Okay.
Sure. I'll put it in the chat again here. So we'll get started here in just a few seconds on the Kahoot. And so the questions that we'll be going over today are questions that I pulled from the College Board's recently released practice test for the digital SAT. And these questions are going to be similar to the types of questions you'll see on the SHSAT as well, along with questions that you'll see if you are taking the SSAT for private schools. So without further ado, we'll get started here with our first puzzle. And for this puzzle, you'll have to match the definition of each term. So the three terms here are speaker, stanza, and line. Go ahead and put these in order and then submit your answers.
Do they need a code for Kahoot or they're okay?
The code that they need is this PIN number at the bottom of the screen. And after they enter the PIN, they can type in the 4 shape patterns.
Okay, everyone, surprise, you're playing a game. Okay, go.
All right, so it looks like we have about everyone's answer now. So we'll take a look at the results here, and it looks like 74 of you got it correct. So the speaker of a poem is the narrator of a story or the singer of a song. A stanza is a paragraph in a story or a verse in a song. And a line is not a sentence. It's often used as breaks to heighten or change moods. So let's take a look at the next puzzle now. Oh, and here's the scoreboard, by the way. It looks like Rockstar Egret is in first place right now. So the next puzzle. So the first word is imagery, and followed by metaphor or simile. The third word is personification, and the last word is symbol. Go ahead and put these definitions in the correct order. And that looks like everyone's about answered the question. So we'll take a look at the results here. And 52 of you got this one correct. So imagery refers to sensory details in a poem. A metaphor or a simile is the use of a comparison, not a literal comparison, to emphasize an idea. Personification is giving something non-human human qualities. And a symbol is an image that has both a literal and a more general meaning. So let's take a look at the scoreboard now. And it looks like Dr. Lama is in first place now. And so the next puzzle, this will be the last puzzle before we get to the multiple choice questions. And your words are hyperbole, rhyme, alliteration, and onomatopoeia. And for anyone who's joining us right now, you can join the Kahoot game at kahoot.it. The game pin is the number you see at the bottom of your screen, and you'll need to enter the shape pattern to log in. All right, so we have about everyone's answers now, and it looks like 63 of you got this one correct. So hyperbole is an exaggeration. Rhyming in a poem means the use of words that end with the same sounds. Alliteration is the use of words that begin with the same sound. And onomatopoeia is the use of words that sound like the things they mean. All right, so let's take a look at the scoreboard here. It looks like Dr. Lama is still in first place. 33 players got all 3 of the first puzzles correct. And now let's take a look at some poetry questions. So the following text is adapted from William Shakespeare's 1609 poem, Sonnet 27. The poem is addressed to a close friend as if he were physically
Wait,
present.
Kenny, can you make the screen larger, please, so that we can see the screen?
So
Can we do a plus, plus, plus? Yeah. Control plus, plus, plus. Yep,
Is
there we
that
go. Okay, there we go. Good.
So the poem is addressed to a close friend as if he were physically present. The poem reads, "Weary with toil, I hurry to my bed. The dear repose for limbs with travel tired, but then begins a journey in my head to work my mind when body's works expired. For then my thoughts from far where I abide begin a zealous pilgrimage to thee, and I keep my drooping eyelids open wide." What is the main idea of the text? A, the speaker is asleep and dreaming about traveling to see the friend. B, the speaker is planning an upcoming trip to the friend's house. C, the speaker is too fatigued to continue a discussion with the friend. Or D, the speaker is thinking about the friend instead of immediately falling asleep. Let's see how many of you have answered so far. Looks like about 70. I'll wait for a few more responses and then we'll go over the answers.
The winner gets a dog. Just kidding. The winner gets just kidding. The winner gets a free poetry book. The winner gets, I don't know, Kenny. We didn't plan the prize.
Oh,
okay, let's
yes.
see.
The
We have to
prize,
think about it. The winner
forgot
gets
to
a
mention,
dollar.
actually, there will be a prize from me for the winner of this Kahoot. So that's another incentive for you to try your best. All right, so we have 90 answers. Let's take a look at how everyone did. So D was the correct answer, and it looks like 40 of you got this one correct. So let's go over each of these answer choices. A is incorrect because the text makes it clear that the speaker is not asleep. Thoughts about the friend are keeping the speaker awake. And we can see that here where it says in the last line, "and keep my drooping eyelids open wide." Choice B is incorrect because the speaker is not talking about taking a literal trip when referring to a zealous pilgrimage. Rather, the speaker is referring to the experience of thinking about the friend, of taking a journey in my head. And choice C is incorrect because the text indicates that the speaker and the friend aren't in the same place and having a conversation. Rather, the speaker is at home thinking of the friend who is somewhere else, far from where I abide. And so D is the correct answer here because it most accurately states the main idea of the text. The speaker describes the experience of being weary and tired and going to bed to seek dear repose. That means sleep. But instead of sleeping, the speaker is kept awake. It says, keeping my drooping eyelids open wide by thoughts of a friend. It says, my thoughts begin a zealous pilgrimage to thee. And so that's why the correct answer here is D. If you have any questions about that, you can go back and rewatch this webinar because I think it's being recorded, right?
This is being recorded. And can you tell everyone a really fun fact about this question number 10, the source of it and where it's appeared?
Yes. So this same poem has appeared in the Kweller Prep SHSAT Poetry Guide. And
+1 Kweller Prep Poetry Guide. Next, where else has this appeared?
And this was the first poem to appear on the recently released digital SAT practice test number 1, which is probably the first practice test for the digital SAT that all of the students listening to this webinar will be seeing when they prepare for the SAT in a few years.
So everyone's taking the SHSAT in 8th and 9th grade. They're going to take the SAT for the most part in 10th, 11th grade. And would you believe that this same exact poem appeared in our poetry book and it appeared in the SAT. So that's super cool. So +1, Kenny Tan. All right. And then just check the chat really fast. Make sure everyone's able to join the game that you created. There are only a few more questions left, and then we're going to jump right in.
All right, so let's take a look at the scoreboard here. It looks like Melodic Panda is in first place now, and 18 players so far have answered all 4 Kahoot questions correctly so far. So here is the next question. The following text is from Maggie Pogue Johnson's 1910 poem, Poet of Our Race. In this poem, the speaker is addressing Paul Laurence Dunbar, a Black author. This poem reads, "Thou with stroke of mighty pen hast told of joy and mirth, and read the hearts and souls of men as cradled from their birth. The language of the flowers, thou hast read them all, and e'en the little brook responded to thy call." Which choice best states the main purpose of the text? A, to praise a certain writer for being especially perceptive regarding people and nature. B, to establish that a certain writer has read extensively about a variety of topics. C, to call attention to a certain writer's careful and elaborately detailed writing process. Or D, to recount fond memories of an afternoon spent in nature with a certain writer. Go ahead and enter your answers. And so far we have about 50 answers. We'll wait for a few more people and then we'll take a look at how everyone did.
Can you make the passage, can you make the question a bit larger, please? Let's make it larger, much better. Perfect. I like everything, like, excellent, perfect.
All right, looks like we have over 80 answers. Let's see how everyone did. And the correct answer turns out to be A, and 41 of you got that one correct. So choice A is the best answer here because it most accurately states the main purpose of the text. The first part of the text, in the first part, the speaker addresses Paul Laurence Dunbar's ability to understand people. It says, he has read the hearts and souls of men and written of their joy and mirth. In the second part of the text, the speaker describes Dunbar's thorough understanding of the natural world. He has read the language of the flowers and engaged with the little brook. Thus, the text mainly praises Dunbar for being especially perceptive about nature and people. And choice B is incorrect because the speaker describes Dunbar as having read the hearts and souls of men and the language of flowers to convey Dunbar's ability to comprehend people and nature, not to suggest that Dunbar has literally read any of these things or has read a great deal about them. Choice C is incorrect because the text notes how well Dunbar has made sense of the topics he's written about, but does not address any specific parts of Dunbar's writing process beyond the suggestion that he used a pen. And finally, choice D is incorrect because the text focuses on Dunbar's understanding of people and nature as expressed in his writing. Nothing in the text actually suggests that the speaker is recalling a particular afternoon spent in nature with Dunbar. Even if there had been a shared experience, this text is not focusing on reminiscing. All right, so let's take a look at the scoreboard now. And it looks like Melodic Panda is still in first place and only 3 players have gotten all the questions correct so far. So moving on to the next question here. All right, so To You is an 1856 poem by Walt Whitman. In the poem, Whitman suggests that readers whom he addresses directly have not fully understood themselves, writing blank. Which quotation from To You most effectively illustrates the claim? A, you have not known what you are, you have slumbered upon yourself all your life. Your eyelids have been the same as closed most of the time. B, these immense meadows, these interminable rivers, you are immense and interminable as they. C, I should have made my way straight to you long ago. I should have blabbed nothing but you. I should have chanted nothing but you. Or D, I will leave all and come and make the hymns of you. None has understood you, but I understand you. Let's see how many answers we've received so far. Almost well, over 70 now. And we'll wait for a few more answers, and then we'll take a look at the results here. All right, so the correct answer turns out to be A. And let's see how many of you got this one. 69 of you got this one. Wow. All right, so A is the correct answer here because it presents the quotation that most directly illustrates the claim that Whitman's poem suggests that its readers haven't fully understood themselves. This quotation makes the point directly by saying to readers, "You have not known what you are." The quotation goes on to reinforce this point using a metaphor of sleep, saying that readers have slumbered and that their eyelids have been the same as closed most of the time. Choice B is incorrect here because this quotation doesn't suggest that readers haven't fully understood themselves, but instead characterizes readers as immense and interminable. Although immense and interminable things can be difficult to understand, this quotation doesn't make that point. Choice C is incorrect here because this quotation conveys the speaker's regret over not having celebrated readers sooner. In fact, this quotation says nothing at all about readers themselves. It's solely focused on the speaker's feelings about readers. And choice D is incorrect because this quotation makes the point that the speaker has understood readers and is determined to create hymns about them. All right, so let's take a look at the scoreboard here. And it looks like 12 players have reached answer streak 6. Melodic Panda is still in first place. And now let's take a look at the next question. The following text is from Georgia Douglas Johnson's 1922 poem, Benediction. The poem reads, "Go forth, my son, winged by my heart's desire, great reaches yet unknown, await for your possession. I may not, if I would, retrace the way with you. My pilgrimage is through, but life is calling you." Which choice best states the main purpose of the text? A, to express hope that a child will have the same accomplishments as his parents did. B, to suggest that raising a child involves many struggles. C, to warn a child that he will face many challenges throughout his life. Or D, to encourage a child to embrace the experiences life will offer. And let's see how many responses we have so far. Looks like we have over 60 responses, and we'll wait for close to 80, and then we'll take a look at the results. All right, so the correct answer for this one was actually D. 69 of you got that one right. All right, so D is the correct answer here because the poem begins with the speakers urging a child to go forth with her encouragement. It says, "My heart's desire." The speaker goes on to suggest that new experiences, the part that says great reaches yet unknown, lie ahead for the son that life is calling him to seek out. Thus, the main purpose is to encourage a child to embrace the experiences available to him in his life. Choice A is incorrect because the speaker encourages the child to pursue new experiences without knowing exactly what those experiences will be or suggesting that they should match the speaker's own accomplishments. Choice B is incorrect because the speaker focuses on positive possibilities for her son and her enthusiastic encouragement to embrace those possibilities, while there is no mention of raising a child or associated struggles. And choice C is incorrect because the speaker frames the possibilities for her son in a positive light when she says that great reaches yet unknown are waiting for him. And this positive outlook is consistent throughout the text. So let's take a look at the scoreboard here. And it looks like Melodic Panda is still in first place. 3 in a row, Dr. Lama is back in the game. So the next question is this poem. The following text is adapted from Gwendolyn Bennett's 1926 poem, Street Lamps in Early Spring. The poem reads, "Night wears a garment, all velvet soft, all violet blue, and over her face she draws a veil, as shimmering fine as floating dew. And here and there, in the black of her hair, the subtle hands of night move slowly with their gem-starred light." Which choice best describes the overall structure of the text? A, it presents alternating descriptions of night in a rural area and in a city. B, it sketches an image of nightfall, then an image of sunrise. C, it makes an extended comparison of night to a human being. Or D, it portrays how night changes from one season of the year to the next. Remember to take your time for these questions. These questions are pretty difficult. And
Can you also just repeat, where is the source of these questions coming from so that they know?
So all of these questions come from the College Board's recently released digital SAT practice test. So this is not only great preparation for the SHSAT, but this is also great preparation for the SAT, which all of you will be taking in about.
So I'm gonna put the links in the chat so that you can see what the SAT information, the samples are, and let this be a good lesson to you. What you see in 8th grade will show up again in 10th and 11th grade. So remember this, okay? I'm gonna put this in the chat.
All right, so it looks like we have 39 answers, and let's take a look at the results here. So the correct answer here was C, and 66 of you got that one correct. So C is the best answer here because it most accurately describes the overall structure of the text. Throughout the text, the speaker characterizes nighttime as if it were a person who wears clothing. Notice it says a garment that is velvet soft and violet blue, and a veil over her face, and who moves her hand slowly with the gem-starred light through her dark hair. Thus, the text is structured as an extended comparison of night to a human being. Choice A is incorrect because the text never mentions any particular location. Instead, it focuses on presenting a single description of night as a person with certain clothing and features. Choice B is incorrect because the text doesn't make any reference to the sun or sunrise. Instead, it focuses on presenting a single image of night as a person with certain clothing and features. And choice D is incorrect. Rather than describing how nighttime changes seasonally or in any other way, the text is presenting a single image of night as a person with certain clothing and features. So let's take a look at the scoreboard now. And Lucky Dolphin is making a comeback with 3 in a row. And it looks like the top 5 players are still there. So the next question. And this question states, the following text is from the 1924 poem Cycle by Darcy McNichol, who was a citizen of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes. The poem reads, there shall be new roads wending, a new beating of the drum. Men's eyes shall have fresh seeing, gray lives reprise their span. But under the new sun's being, completing what night began, there'll be the same backs bending, the same sad feet shall drum, when this night finds its ending and day shall have come. Which choice best states the main purpose of the text? A, to consider how the repetitiveness inherent in human life can be both rewarding and challenging. B, to question whether activities completed at one time of day are more memorable than those completed at another time of day. C, to refute the idea that joy is a more commonly experienced emotion than sadness is. Or D, to demonstrate how the experiences of individuals relate to the experiences of their communities. And let's see how many answers we have so far, close to 60. And I'll wait a few more seconds here for more responses. All right, so we have 82 responses. Let's take a look at the results here. So 57 of you got this one correct. And choice A is the correct answer here because the text begins by discussing the promise of the future with positive references to renewal, such as new roads, new beating of the drum, and fresh seeing. But with the new sun, the text continues, there will still be the same backs bending, the same sad feet drumming, indicating that these difficulties will follow people into this new day. The poem thus considers both the rewards and challenges associated with the repetitiveness of human life. Choice B is incorrect because the text doesn't say anything about how memorable activities are, let alone compare the memorability of activities completed at different times of day. Choice C is incorrect. Although the text contrasts hope with difficulty, it does not compare the relative frequency of joyful feelings with that of sad feelings. And choice D is incorrect because the text makes no distinction between the experiences of individuals and the experiences of their communities. So let's take a look at the scoreboard here. And it looks like Daring Eagle has taken first place now, and 10 players have just hit answer streak 9. And get ready for the next question. Here we go. The following text is from the 1923 poem, Black Finger by Angelina Grimke, a Black American writer. A cypress is a type of evergreen tree. The poem reads, I have just seen a most beautiful thing, slim and still, against a gold sky, a straight black cypress, sensitive, exquisite, a black finger pointing upwards. Why, beautiful still finger, are you black? And why are you pointing upwards? Which choice best describes the overall structure of the text? A, the speaker assesses a natural phenomenon, then questions the accuracy of her assessment. B, the speaker describes a distinctive sight in nature, then ponders what meaning to attribute to that sight. C, the speaker presents an outdoor scene, then considers a human behavior occurring within that scene. Or D, the speaker examines her surroundings, then speculates about their influence on her emotional state. Go ahead and enter your answers now, and we'll wait just a few more moments for everyone to submit their responses. So the correct answer for this question was B. And let's see how many of you got this one. 63 of you, well done. So B is the correct answer here because the first speaker, or I should say first the speaker describes observing a most beautiful sight, a tree, that's the black cypress, standing out from the golden sky behind it, looking like a person's finger pointing upwards and appearing sensitive and exquisite. Then the speaker wonders about the image's meaning, asking why the finger is black and why it's pointing upwards. Thus, the text moves from the speaker's description of a distinctive sight in nature to her pondering about what meaning to attribute to that sight. Choice A is incorrect because the speaker assesses a natural sight, that is a black cypress tree standing against a gold sky like a pointed finger, but doesn't question the accuracy of her own assessment. Although she wonders why the finger, which is really a tree, is black and why it's pointing, the speaker doesn't suggest that her belief that the tree resembles a finger is wrong. Choice C is incorrect because although the speaker describes seeing a black cypress tree standing against a gold sky like a pointed finger, she wonders about that natural image, asking why the finger, which is really a tree, is black and why it's pointing, and doesn't give any indication that any people are present in the scene. And finally, choice D is incorrect because although the speaker examines and wonders about one thing in her surroundings, a black cypress tree standing against a gold sky like a pointed finger, she doesn't address her own emotional state or consider how it's affected by her surroundings. So let's take a look at the scoreboard now. And it looks like Daring Eagle still maintaining the lead here. Witty Duck is back in the game with 3 in a row. And get ready for the next question. The following text is from Walt Whitman's 1860 poem, Calamus 24. The poem reads, I hear it is charged against me that I seek to destroy institutions, but really I am neither for nor against institutions. What indeed have I in common with them? Or what with the destruction of them? Only I will
Can you just make it larger, please? So everyone can see it on the screen. I'm so sorry for interrupting. I just want to make sure it's a larger size.
It looks like this is the largest. So
Okay.
only I will establish in the Manhattan, meaning Manhattan, and in every city of these states, inland and seaboard, and in the fields and woods, and above every keel, meaning ship, little or large, that dents the water, without edifices or rules or trustees or any argument, the institution of the dear love of comrades. Which choice best describes the overall structure of the text? A, the speaker questions an increasingly prevalent attitude, then summarizes his worldview. B, the speaker regrets his isolation from others, then predicts a profound change in society. C, the speaker concedes his personal shortcomings, then boasts of his many achievements. Or D, the speaker addresses a criticism leveled against him, then announces a grand ambition of his. Let's see how many answers we have so far. Looks like they're coming in quickly. And we'll give everyone a few more moments. All right, so the correct answer for this question was choice D. And it looks like 42 of you got this one correct. So choice D is the correct answer here, because the speaker begins by stating that he has heard that others are accusing him of seeking to destroy institutions. The speaker then addresses this criticism by stating that he is neither for nor against institutions. Instead, the speaker states that his ultimate goal is to instill the institution of dear love of comrades everywhere in the country. Therefore, the overall structure of the text is best described as an address of criticism, followed by an announcement of a grand ambition. Choice A is incorrect, because while the speaker does address an opinion of him that he believes to be untrue, the speaker does not indicate that this attitude has become increasingly prevalent. The speaker also concludes by explaining his goal for the future rather than his current worldview. Choice B is incorrect, because the text does not portray the speaker as isolated or regretful, and the speaker gestures towards a hope for societal change, but doesn't offer an explicit prediction that it will happen. And choice C is incorrect, because the speaker addresses the criticism of him that he believes to be false. He does not admit any personal shortcomings. Moreover, the speaker concludes by stating a goal that he has rather than showcasing his achievements. So let's take a look at the scoreboard now. And it looks like Daring Eagle still maintaining a lead here. Shining Raccoon making a comeback with 3 in a row. And get ready for the next question. The following text is from Ezra Pound's 1909 poem, Hymn 3, based on the work of Marcantonio Flaminio. As a fragile and lovely flower unfolds its gleaming foliage on the breast of the fostering earth, if the dew and the rain draw it forth, so doth my tender mind flourish, if it be fed with the sweet dew of the fostering spirit. Lacking this, it beginneth straightway to languish, even as a floweret born upon dry earth, if the dew and the rain tend it not. Based on the text, in what way is the human mind like a flower? A, it becomes increasingly vigorous with the passage of time. B, it draws strength from changes in the weather. C, it requires proper nourishment in order to thrive. Or D, it perseveres despite challenging circumstances. And let's see how many responses we have. Close to 60 now. We'll give everyone a few more moments. And let's take a look at the answers. So the correct answer here was choice C, and it looks like 58 of you got this one correct. Choice C is the correct answer here because it presents a description of how the human mind is like a flower that is directly supported by the text. The text compares the needs of a fragile and lovely flower to those of the speaker's tender mind. Both need to be fed if they're going to survive. Without such feeding, they'll beginneth straightway to languish or weaken. Thus, the text suggests that the human mind is like a flower in that they both need proper nourishment in order to thrive. Choice A is incorrect because the text does not address the passage of time or describe either the human mind or a flower as becoming increasingly vigorous. Choice B is incorrect because the text does not suggest that human minds or flowers draw strength from changes in weather. The references to rain in the text pertain to a flower's need for water rather than the general effects of changing weather. And choice D is incorrect because the text does not suggest that the human mind or a flower will persist regardless of challenging circumstances. In fact, the text indicates that they'll both languish right away if not given what they need. So let's take a look at the scoreboard now. And it looks like a little bit of movement. Up 10 places, Elated Lobster is the highest climber. And get ready for the next question now. Ghosts of the Old Year is an early 1900s poem by James Weldon Johnson. In the poem, the speaker describes experiencing an ongoing cycle of anticipation followed by regretful reflection. Which quotation from Ghosts of the Old Year most effectively illustrates the claim? A, the snow has ceased its fluttering flight, the wind sunk to a whisper light, an ominous stillness fills the night, a pause, a hush. B, and so the years go swiftly by, each coming brings ambitions high, and each departing leaves a sigh linked to the past. C, what does this brazen tongue declare? That falling on the midnight air brings to my heart a sense of care akin to fright. D, it tells of many a squandered day, of slighted gems and treasured clay, of precious stores not laid away, of fields unreaped. And looks like we are getting close to 70 responses now. I'll give everyone a few more moments. Here we go. The correct answer for this question was B. And let's see how many of you got this one. 57, all right. So choice B is the correct answer here because the quotation addresses both aspects of the claim, cycles of anticipation. Notice it says each coming brings ambitions high, and regretful reflection. It says, and each departing leaves a sigh, linked to the past. Choice A is incorrect because the quotation focuses on anticipation, but not regretful reflection. Choice C is incorrect because the quotation focuses on worry and anxiety rather than anticipation and regretful reflection. And choice D is incorrect because the quotation focuses on regretful reflection, but not anticipation. All right, so we have some changes to the scoreboard now. Glad Rhino is in first place. Up 9 places, Eager Boa is the highest climber. And get ready for the next question. Often rebuked, yet always back returning, is an 1846 poem by Emily Bronte. The poem conveys the speaker's determination to experience the countryside around her. Which quotation from the poem most effectively illustrates the claim? A, often rebuked, yet always back returning, to those first feelings that were born with me, and leaving busy chase of wealth and learning for idle dreams of things which cannot be. B, I'll walk, but not in old heroic traces, and not in paths of high morality, and not among the half-distinguished faces, the clouded forms of long past history. C, I'll walk where my own nature would be leading. It vexes me to choose another guide, where the gray flocks in ferny glens are feeding, where the wild wind blows on the mountainside. D, today I will seek not the shadowy region, its unsustaining vastness waxes drear, and visions rising legion after legion bring the unreal world too strangely near. All right, so it looks like we have over 70 answers now. We'll wait a few more moments. And the correct answer here was C. 57 of you got that one correct. C is the correct answer here because it presents the quotation that best illustrates the claim that the speaker is determined to experience the countryside around her. In this quotation, the speaker makes it clear that she plans to walk somewhere based on her own wishes, rather than follow anything else, and that she'll walk in ferny glens alongside the mountain. Choice A is incorrect because this quotation suggests that the speaker wants to avoid pursuing money and education. It says, busy chase of wealth and learning, and instead return to some earlier interests, meaning her first feelings. The quotation does not address her determination to experience the countryside. Choice B is incorrect because the speaker is describing the circumstances under which she won't walk, which doesn't address her determination to experience the countryside. And choice D is incorrect because rather than conveying her determination to experience the countryside, the speaker is explaining a particular thing she won't do. That is, she won't seek the shadowy region. So let's take a look at the scoreboard here. And 3 players just hit answer sheet 4. Glad Rhino still in first place. Get ready for the next one. The following text is from Charlotte Forten Grimke's 1888 poem At Newport. The poem reads, "O deep delight to watch the gladsome waves, exultant leap upon the rugged rocks, ever repulsed yet ever rushing on, filled with a life that will not know defeat. To see the glorious hues of sky and sea, the distant snowy sails glide spirit-like, into an unknown world, to feel the sweet enchantment of the sea thrill all the soul, clearing the clouded brain, making the heart leap joyous as its own bright singing waves." Which choice best describes the function of the underlined portion in the text as a whole? A, it portrays the surroundings as an imposing and intimidating scene. B, it characterizes the sea's waves as a relentless and enduring force. C, it conveys the speaker's ambivalence about the natural world. Or D, it draws a contrast between the sea's waves and the speaker's thoughts. And let's see how many responses we have. Looks like almost 60. I'll wait a few more moments for everyone. All right, so the correct answer to this question was choice B. And let's see how many of you got this. 54 of you got this one correct. So choice B is the correct answer here because the text presents the speaker's experience of viewing the sea. In the underlined portion, the speaker focuses on the idea that the waves hitting the rocks on the shore are a relentless and enduring force. They are constantly pushed back, ever repulsed, but always return, ever rushing on, as though they have an energy that can't be overcome, a life that will not know defeat. Choice C is incorrect because the underlined portion does not suggest that the speaker is ambivalent or has mixed feelings about the natural world. Instead, it presents a single view of one part of the immediate surroundings. The speaker characterizes the sea's waves as an unstoppable force since they are constantly pushed back but always return. Choice D is incorrect, although the text later suggests the speaker's view of her own thoughts by referring to a clouded brain and a heart that leaps joyously. This reference neither occurs within the underlined portion nor establishes a clear contrast with the relentless determination of the waves. The underlined portion addresses only the speaker's view of the waves and does not suggest what her own thoughts might be. And finally, choice A is incorrect because although the underlined portion characterizes the waves as a relentless force, the speaker does not suggest that the surroundings are intimidating. Instead, the speaker presents the scene in a positive way, describing the deep delight of the gladsome or cheerful waves and feeling the heart leap joyous while viewing the sea. And let's take a look at the scoreboard here. Up 7 places, Flying Rhino is the highest climber, and Glad Rhino still in first place. Let's get ready for the next question here. To You is an 1856 poem by Walt Whitman. In the poem, Whitman suggests that he deeply understands the reader, whom he addresses directly, writing blank. Which quotation from To You most effectively illustrates the claim? A, your true soul and body appear before me. B, whoever you are, now I place my hand upon you that you be my poem. C, I should have made my way straight to you long ago. Or D, whoever you are, I fear you are walking the walks of dreams. And let's see how many responses we have so far. Close to 60. I'll give everyone a few more moments. All right, so the correct answer to this question was choice A. And 53 of you got that one correct. Choice A is the correct answer here because it most directly illustrates the text claim about Whitman's poem. To you, the text states that in this poem, Whitman suggests that he deeply understands the poem's reader. This quotation says that the reader's true soul and body appear before Whitman, thereby asserting that he can see the reader as the reader truly is, suggesting that he deeply understands the reader. Choice D is incorrect. Although this quotation shows Whitman directly addressing the reader and expressing concern about the reader, it does not illustrate the idea that Whitman suggests that he deeply understands the reader. The quotation is simply expressing concern about the reader, which does not necessarily imply deep understanding of the reader. Choice B is incorrect because this quotation describes Whitman making the reader the subject of the poem, where it says, "You be my poem," not Whitman deeply understanding the reader. And choice C is incorrect because instead of suggesting that Whitman deeply understands the reader, it emphasizes Whitman's regret at not having addressed the reader sooner. So let's take a look at the scoreboard now. And Glad Rhino still in first place, Daring Eagle making some moves. 8 players just hit answer streak 3. And let's take a look at the next question here. When Dawn Comes to the City is a 1922 poem by Claude McKay, who immigrated to the United States from the island nation of Jamaica as an adult. The poem conveys McKay's contrasting feelings about New York City, his adopted home in the United States, and his home country. Blank. Which quotation from When Dawn Comes to the City most effectively illustrates the claim? A lonely newsboy hurries by, humming a recent ditty. Red streaks strike through the gray of the sky. The dawn comes to the city, New York City. B, dark figures start for work. I watch them sadly shuffle on. 'Tis dawn, dawn in New York, but I would be on the island of the sea, in the heart of the island of the sea. C, and the shaggy nanny goat is calling, calling, calling from her little trampled corner of the long, wide lane. That stretches to the waters of the hill stream falling sheer upon the flat rocks joyously. D, the tired cars go rumbling by, the moaning, groaning cars, and the old milk carts go rumbling by under the same dull stars. And let's see how many answers we have. All right, so the correct answer for this question was B. And it looks like 50 of you got this one correct. Choice B is the correct answer here because it presents a quotation illustrating the claim that the poem conveys McKay's contrasting feelings about New York City and Jamaica. McKay first presents a somewhat negative view of New York City, describing watching dark figures who sadly shuffle to work at dawn, and then indicates that he would instead like to be in the heart of the island of the sea. Choice D is incorrect because though McKay presents a negative image of an unnamed place with tired cars that grumble, moan, and groan, and old milk carts that rumble by under dull stars, the quotation focuses on McKay's feelings about only one place rather than on different feelings about two places. Choice C is incorrect because the quotation focuses on a description of only one place, which is not named, rather than on McKay's different feelings about two places. And choice A is incorrect because the quotation focuses on a description of only one place, New York City with its lonely newsboy and red streaks in the sky at dawn, rather than on different feelings about two places. And let's take one more look at the scoreboard here. Glad Rhino still in first place, up 9 places. Balance B is the highest climber. And here's the final question, your last chance to win this Kahoot. So Loon Point is a 1912 poem by Amy Lowell. In the poem, which presents a nighttime scene on a body of water, Lowell describes an element of nature as an active participant in the experience, writing blank. Which quotation from Loon Point most effectively illustrates the claim? A, through the water the moon writes her legends, in light on the smooth wet sand. B, softly the water ripples against the canoe's curving side. C, or like the snow-white petals which drop from an overblown rose. D, but the moon in her wayward beauty is ever and always the same. And let's see how many responses we have so far. Over 50. We'll just wait a few more seconds. And last chance. All right, so the correct answer for this final question was A. And 53 of you got this one correct. Choice A is the correct answer here because it most effectively illustrates the claim that Lowell describes an element of nature as an active participant in the experience of a nighttime scene on a body of water. The quotation presents the image of the moon shining on a body of water. However, instead of describing the moon in passive terms, or simply stating that it reflects through the water and onto the sandy shore, the quotation portrays the moon as being engaged in the human-like action of writing a legend. In other words, the moon is participating actively in the nighttime scene. Choice B is incorrect. Although the quotation describes a nighttime scene on a body of water, the element of nature in these lines, the waves, isn't portrayed as an active participant in an experience. Instead, the waves merely ripple softly against a canoe as waves would normally do. Choice C is incorrect because the quotation does not present a nighttime scene on a body of water. Instead, it describes petals falling from a rose. And choice D is incorrect. Although the quotation presents an image of an element of nature, that is the moon, it does not mention a body of water. Moreover, it portrays the moon as not as an active participant in a scene, but instead as a static or unchanging, ever and always the same. So let's take a look at the winners here. In third place is Melodic Octopus with 15,079 points. In second place is Karen Crane. And our grand prize winner today is Glad Rhino with 15,934 points. Congratulations to Glad Rhino. The prize that I mentioned earlier is 1 hour of tutoring, one-on-one tutoring with me. To Glad Rhino, go ahead and take a screenshot of your winning page, and you can email that to me, and we can set up a one-on-one tutoring session. So that concludes my presentation. Let's see if there are any questions in the chat here. Ms. Kweller, do you have anything that you would like to add?
No, can you just tell everyone where to get practice questions? Just really like make it very clear because at this stage in the game, 10 days before the test for so many students, where is the easiest place? Because I know the SAT 2 literature has options and the new release questions from SAT, but can you please just tell everyone where they can look for more practice? Because again, we're now literally T-minus 10 days for the upcoming SHSAT.
Absolutely, sure. So a great website that I recommend is my website, actually. If you go to styprep.nyc and click under here, click over here to the 18 SHSAT practice tests, you can find a list of all of the recently released official DOE provided.
Can you make it larger so everyone can see that, please? So everyone just pay attention. This is where we can get more practice questions. We are about 10 days from the SHSAT right now. All right, go ahead.
So all of these recently released DOE provided practice tests have either 1 or 2 poems in each practice test. So I would recommend going here. And you can also find more practice tests in the Kweller Prep SHSAT Poetry Guide. And if you're looking for additional poetry to practice reading, you can also search online to, I think, the Poetry Foundation. They have a great library of poems that you can read and analyze, and you can read the analysis of the poems that are provided by them. Let's see, do we have any other questions in the chat here?
And can you give the best, where would they expect to see, if you're able to, just please go through, where can they expect to, what would you recommend are the best tips we should know 10 days before the test, please?
The best tips 10 days before the test. Well, I would start by making sure that you go back through all of the questions that you have completed up until today. All of those questions that you got incorrect, what you would want to do is test yourself with those questions. Basically redo those questions that you've gotten incorrect in all of those practice tests that you've done up till now, and use the answer explanations wherever you can find them to understand where your mistakes are. The best way to improve would be to continually take practice tests and study your mistakes and redo the questions that you got incorrect until you get all of them correct. And my final tip for when students are taking the SHSAT is remember to breathe. I'm sure many students get quite anxious during the test, and it can be quite a nerve-wracking experience. So remember to take deep breaths, and if you get tired, just close your eyes for a few seconds, take a deep breath, try to relax, and then reopen your eyes, look at the test, and resume.
Great. And can we just close? Can you just tell everyone quickly about yourself, your background, and about your book? And then we're going to wind down. Thank you so much, Kenny.
Sure. Again, my name is Kenny Tan. I have been teaching students how to prepare for the SHSAT since 2010. I attended Stuyvesant High School. I graduated from Stuyvesant in 2010. I then went to Vanderbilt University and graduated from Vanderbilt in 2014. After which I began tutoring students one-on-one. And so I wish everyone taking the test next week the best of luck. And thank you all for joining me today for this webinar.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Give Kenny, thank you for going through, what was that, 20, 30 questions, 40? I feel like we went through quite a lot of questions in 1 hour. That's a lot of questions in 1 hour. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for putting everything in the share screen and for your time. And thank you for producing a book that has more practice questions, because we really need that. And it's actually one of the only poetry practice books, period, available in terms of SHSAT. So everyone, let's give Kenny a huge thank you in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you so much for all this information and for the references. And please, everyone, take a look at the SAT sample released exams and the SAT 2 literature, if you can look up online as well. Practice makes perfect. Good luck in 10 days. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck to everyone testing in 10 days. Practice makes perfect. Keep going. Keep practicing the material. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Please keep practicing. Keep going. Keep going.